So here we are for another brownie video, and you know what that means? Either the views are down or it is the holidays. Or both. We have done what feels like endless brownie testing videos here on the channel, but today we've got some very unique creations that I believe we have never tried before. Starting with some white chocolate brownies from In Bloom Bakery, some Ganache Brownies from Patrick Zanali, and finishing with some absolutely incredible looking mint chocolate chip brownies from Sally's Baking Recipes. As always, all the links to these recipes will be down in the description. Go show them some love after this video. But let's get right into this one. I think we should start with these perfectly crackly and chewy looking white chocolate brownies. And all you will need is some granulated sugar and decent white chocolate, some AP flour and salt, unsalted butter, vanilla extract, and then a couple of eggs. Now, I know what some of you might be screaming from the rooftops. Why am I calling these white chocolate brownies instead of the Blondie, another cousin of the brownie? And at first, when I saw this video, I thought the same thing, but upon some research, there's actually quite a big difference between what we're gonna make today and a Blondie, where a Blondie is very dependent on a lot of dark brown sugar for that deep molasses flavor profile, and usually even contains some regular old semi-sweet or bittersweet chocolate themselves. White chocolate brownies do not usually contain any brown sugar. They were mostly reliant on the white chocolate, obviously, and then just some granulated sugar, which is why they're so much brighter. So if you didn't know, you're welcome. It's another good example of why Google is your friend. But this is a very simple combination of that melted white chocolate, some eggs, vanilla extract, and sugar. Of course, combined with your dry ingredients, popped in an 8x8 glass baking dish, or metal if that's all you got, and then they are baked off at 325 degrees for about a half an hour. Obviously, when you're baking brownies, you kind of expect that delicious baked good scent just filling your entire house. And to my surprise, these kind of smelled like nothing. And I wouldn't say they look bad at all, but if you handed me one, I would kind of assume it was a lemon bar. They do not look like a brownie at all. So my expectations are very indifferent for this one, but either way, it is time to give them a shot. This looks so interesting. I know a lot of people have issues with white chocolate, especially like well-known chefs or professionals, but I personally do not, and these are delicious. It's got the perfect brownie texture, the mixture of soft but chewy. The salt is right there. It's got a very pleasant flavor. Based on the flavor and texture, if you asked me to take a bite of this and guess what it was, I think I would guess it was like a vanilla ice cream brownie. Which is one of my favorite ice cream flavors. Call me basic, I don't care, but it's one of the few I can eat with my allergies. But these are great. I would be very happy with these at any holiday. Next up today on our brownie excursion are these absolutely delicious looking 5-ingredient Ganache Brownies. And those 5 ingredients are some all-purpose flour and milk, some milk chocolate and sugar, as well as some butter. Unless, of course, you want to include the best looking part of these brownies, the ganache topping, in which case you will also need some heavy cream and darker chocolates and some flaky salt too. I don't like the deception, Patrick, unless you were trying to lump milk and heavy cream together and then different kinds of chocolate together as one ingredient, but that still excludes the salt, so you are canceled for saying these are 5-ingredient brownies. I'm just kidding, obviously, but besides that, a 5-ingredient brownie in itself is kind of impressive. I've never seen a recipe with this few ingredients turn out as good as his looks to be. So if this works out, I will definitely be reusing it again because it's literally just melted chocolate and a stick of butter combined with 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour, and a half cup of milk, and that's it. No other ingredients, there's no sifting or folding everything together. This literally just gets thrown in a square baking dish, baked at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and that's it. I would say that they smell good, not nearly as good as Tasty's fudgy brownies. You already know I wasn't gonna be able to get through this video without mentioning those things. And then obviously the ganache is just some chopped up chocolate and some warmed up heavy cream to cover everything up, whipped up together until that chocolate is completely melted, poured across the top, and allowed to set at room temperature. The only other comment I will make about this TikTok is, can we please, to God, stop using this song? He uses Unholy in his, and between that song and that Meghan Trainor song, I literally want to Van Gogh myself anytime I open TikTok. It's why I refuse to listen to the radio anymore as well, but getting back on track, I have some thoughts already about these, but let's give them a taste. Now that's a thumbnail. This, I can already tell, is gonna be for those super fudgy brownie lovers. Not for those that think it has to be cooked to all hell and drier than a boot for it to be safe to eat. This has got to be the most unique brownie I've ever eaten texture-wise in my life. It's got the mouthfeel of straight up raw batter, but somehow it's holding itself together. It was very smart to add the flaky salt on top to give this a little bit of texture, because goddamn is this like gooey. I love fudgy brownies and ganache, and these are good, but they might be a little bit too rich even for me. I think if I cut a quarter of this piece and just ate that, you know, 2 or 3 bites, I'd be more than satisfied. Not bad though, it's just a lot. And lastly today, we've got these super decadent and unique looking mint chocolate chip brownies from Sally's Baking Recipes. I gathered together some sugar and milk, salt and flour, butter, powdered sugar, some dark chocolate and dark brown sugar, unsweetened cocoa powder, vanilla extract, peppermint extract, and a couple of eggs. Now, when I was planning this video, I was in a bit of a crisis because a couple of you recommended a mint chocolate brownie to me, and when I was looking through options, I first came across these ones from the Betty Crocker website. And they are super eye-catching. I really wanted to make them, but the recipe is literally just a box of the Betty Crocker brownie mix. But I figured a nice happy medium would be to use that decoration technique for this recipe from Sally. I don't know what that says about me or my life that deciding between a few brownie recipes was such a crisis, apparently. But I landed on this one because these things look awesome. Everything is pretty much homemade from scratch. The base brownie recipe for this one is a little bit more involved than the last few. They had you heat up the butter and chocolate in a pot and mix in everything else to that, a few ingredients at a time, from the sugars and the eggs to the vanilla, salt, and cocoa powder and flour. They're gonna get baked in a prepared 9x13 pan, this time at 350 for about 36 minutes. And then of course you gotta whip up your peppermint layer to top these off once they are completely cooled, and finish them off with a nice chocolate drizzle. Just very quickly, I wanted to say this. I hope you're all having a great holiday season so far. Thank you all so much for the continued support throughout this year, especially over on my Patreon. If you're not already familiar, I urge you to go check it out. It's the top link in the description. You can get access to perks like early video links and my private Discord. So come say hey to me over on that. And lastly, I'm obviously gonna do at least one more dessert video, much like this one for this month. So if you have a super unique cookie recipe in mind, or even a cake or brownie recipe, leave it down in the comments, because I'm gonna go through them all, pick out some of the best looking ones, and give you all a shout out when I do. But once again, these were looking incredible. I was so happy with the way they turned out. They cut super cleanly, that cross section looks great, so let's give our final brownie recipe a shot. I am extremely happy with this thing. Wow, is all I have to say. I'm not even gonna leave you in suspense and keep you guessing. This is the best brownie of the day by far. I cannot believe how much this topping tastes like mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's spot on, like it is uncanny, and usually a frosting like this would be a little bit on the sweet side, but I think they purposely balanced it with this brownie recipe using the unsweetened cocoa, a little bit of the salt in there. It is perfect. Chocolate and mint is also such an underrated combination. It is so perfect together. I love the way it looks overall, obviously. What a perfect food. Please make these if you like brownies or mint and chocolate, and let me know over on my Instagram if you do. Could not ask for a better day.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.